Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and the much awaited video here is out, of course. Man, again, a lot of things are coming to me, a lot of things are happening, and I'm very excited actually now to release this information because this is a long journey about almost 3.5 years, as I've mentioned before. And there's just so much that's finally culminated into this point in time where I can basically bring to you the answer or the complete solve to iPad Goat 2. And now that's quite a statement, but I think I'm going to show it. Now, when my other videos, uh, iPad Goat 2 solved part 1 and iPad Goat 2 solved part 2, there were several things in there that I pretty much established that basically we have these attacks on the United States that are going to happen, okay, and I just didn't know the exact timing. But the last one I did basically shows that the time I pretty much predicted, the time and the date was when that presidential alert went out. So it's not easy to know when they're doing things and what they're doing exactly. But if you read the signs correctly, you read the details correctly, you can get pretty close to what's going on. And I've been doing that. In fact, there were several hurricanes that happened that I predicted that they would hit Hawaii only because iPad Goat. That's it. And what it showed me. Okay, so just so you know, any of you that are watching this or have watched part 1 and part 2, definitely watch part 1 and part 2 first. But even before that, watch iPad Goat 2 if you haven't yet. If you're new to this video or even my videos, I recommend you watch a lot of my previous videos. Maybe go back about 10 or 12 or something like that, but at least so you get an idea of what this is about. I get a lot of questions on people, and I just don't answer them all because they basically get into details that I've already covered in other videos and things. So, but you got to watch iPad Goat 2, the actual movie, which is 7 minutes and 27 seconds long. It'll be in the description box. And then you got to watch part 1 and part 2 of this series, iPad Goat 2 Solved. Okay, time is almost up is what it's called. So basically, I wasn't assuming I was going to answer the exact question, but I think I've gotten there now. So, but again, I'm going to say this again. I say this on all my videos. I said it 1,000 times to everyone I know. I don't know the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a prophet. I do have prophetic things happen to me. The Lord talks to me. Jesus talks to me. Just things like that. I have had prophetic dreams and all that, but I don't know the exact time. Now I'm speculating this whole time. I'm gathering evidence like an attorney would, or I'm gathering evidence like a detective would, and I'm putting this all out in front of you, and you decide. Okay, so I want to say that all up front. Anyone who has a problem with that, I don't really care. I'm trying to get this out to as many people as possible because millions of people, I believe, are going to die. And I don't like that. Okay, I hate that idea. Okay, and I've said that many times. But what's going to happen is there are going to be 2 massive tsunamis, one in Hawaii that is caused from the southern part of the Big Island breaking off, where Kilauea is, and the East Rift Zone breaking off, falling over the Helena Slump. Again, this is in my other videos, so you watch those and you get a better detail and show you those details. But I just want to summarize that. It's going to fall off into the ocean there off the southern part of Hawaii, and it's going to cause a massive displacement of water that's going to cause a massive tsunami. It's kind of like throwing a huge stone into a pond, and you're going to have this big ripple that's going to happen. It's going to shoot out from Hawaii. It's going to go across the Pacific. Because it's on that side, more the east side, southeast, is going to ripple across to the east, which is going to hit the west coast of the United States. It's also going to go the other directions as well, but people have theorized that it would be 100 to 200 foot wave that will hit the west coast, but Hawaii will be virtually destroyed because it'll be about 1,000 foot wave. Okay, and then simultaneously, roughly at the same time, New York will be hit with a tsunami as well. And by the way, both of these tsunamis are caused by submarines, nuclear torpedoes, probably. That's most likely. And so killer whale will blow because of this torpedo, and that will cause on the west coast, and then the other one will happen on the east coast. This is in money, and this is on our money. This is predicted in tons of movies and all that stuff. I've covered all that, okay? So I just want to summarize this real quick. Both coasts are going to get hit by major tsunamis, possibly even what I'm reading in iPad Goat, London, Tokyo as well. Some of our allies, okay? Because they're the biggest threat to the Luciferians and the New World Order, okay? They're the biggest freedom centers in the world, okay? Possible freedom centers, biggest possible, basically, people can go up against what they're trying to do, so they want to neutralize that right away. They're a danger to them in starting this New World Order, so that's what they're setting up. Okay, so without further ado, I just got to do a little bit of explanation for the new people and that kind of stuff. So, when are they going to do this? Okay, let me show you. Okay, I've theorized about a few different times and things like that, and I think this is the complete solve. So, if you've seen the back of the dollar bill, of course, you see this. Okay, this is the pyramid. This is their goal, really. This is their goal. This is what the rituals are all about that they've been doing for a long time, but especially since 9/11, there's been massive rituals. Of course, way before that as well. I mean, I talked about Burning Man. I've talked about Tomorrowland that Disney does. I mean, this last year, there's been so many, one after the other, of public rituals, not to mention their own private rituals, which we don't know about completely. Some people do, but so when they add up all these rituals, they are building up power for this mass sacrifice, okay, which is just completely sick and disgusting, and I hate it, but I need to put the word out to people about what's coming. So if you look at our dollar bill, on the back is this, on the left side, you see this pyramid, and of course the eye on the top of the pyramid, the eye in the triangle, that is the all-seeing eye. That is the eye of Satan, basically becoming the Antichrist and he's above everybody. And as you notice here, there's 13 levels right here of these bricks, because these are Masons and they're Illuminati and that kind of stuff. So this is announcing the birth of the New World Order, basically. Okay, so I want to show you this, and I wanted to get back into, I've covered this in a video before, but I want to get back into what this means for this date and time that's coming. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. So that's what they're trying to do. So at the bottom of the pyramid, you saw the MDCCLXXVI, which is 1776 in Roman numerals. And each, of course, Roman numeral has a number value to it. If you know Roman numerals, I mean, a lot of us learned this in school. Maybe some of you didn't, but I did, and a lot of people did. So M equals 1,000, for example, D equals 500, and so on. So if you look at the 1776, which those numerals add up to, that's when our country is founded. Well, there's nefarious reasons for a lot of these symbolisms in our money, and even the dates and all that kind of stuff. If you really understand this a little bit, I'm not saying I fully understand all this stuff, but I do understand some of these things, and this is one concept that the Lord has led me to. The Lord Jesus has led me to. Okay, so 1776. If you add up 1 and the 6 on either end, then that ends up being a 7. So they keep adding until they get to the basic number. So in this situation, you add 1 and 6, and it ends up being 777. Well, that's God's number. That's a perfect deity number. It's God's number. In fact, God's name looks like 777. Okay, so they go to 777, and then you keep adding. 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 21, and then you keep adding. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, and then what they do is they take each of these letters and they place them left to right, top to bottom. So the first MDC in the top part would be M, and then D and C on the first pyramid, and then the CLX, then the next pyramid, top to bottom, CLX left to right, and then XVI would be left to right, top to bottom, left to right, XVI, okay, as you can see there. Okay, and then now you're adding the number values to it. So you have 1,000, 500, 100, 150, and 10, and then on the third pyramid, you're looking at 10, 5, and 1. Okay, now zeros don't mean anything to them, so they get rid of the zeros eventually, but now we're going to add the totals together, okay? So adding the totals together, this is what you come up with on the top and on the bottom, and then we're getting rid of the zeros. So you have 1s on each top and then 6s on each bottom, okay? And then you put these 3 together, okay? This is all their thing, okay? And if you kind of look at the numbers and the way they do it, it's pretty crazy. They kind of rip off God and what He already's done and He knows, but this is their thing, adding these numbers up until they get to a more basic form. And then, of course, these numbers mean things, and numbers do mean things. I mean, literally everything that we do in our life is based on mathematics, and even our language is mathematical, especially, Hebrew and Greek and other languages are purely mathematical. So at the top you end up with 111. At the bottom you end up with 666. Now we know what 666 is, right? From the Bible, the number of the Antichrist. But it's also the number of the world in a sense, and it's the basis existence of human beings. So the flesh, you could call it. You could call it, a lot of different things. I forget the exact things they call it, but it's basically the worldly flesh that's not perfect, okay? And then, but you look at the top and you have 111, and then let's go to the next thing here. So that's very similar to 777, or it's the same because. So let's just replace those 111s with 777. I'll show you why. I'll go back to the 111 here, but so you get an idea. So at the top is God, godliness in their minds, or them becoming like gods in the top, which is really only one room for one person at the top. Even all these people that follow Satan and everything, they don't realize that he's above them and they're still below him. So 777 is at the top and 666 is on the bottom. But you keep adding. So 7 plus 7 plus 7 on the top is 21. And on the bottom, 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. Okay, keep adding. So at the top you have 3. Okay, and again, earlier we saw 111, so that's the same thing. So that's why we put 777 up there, so I could show you that that's God's number, that's divinity, godliness, or whatever, perfection in their minds, right? But it's all ripped off from God. This is, again, two sides of the coin that I've been talking about in all my videos. The Lord Jesus has wanted me to share the dark side of the coin, which is the underneath, which can't be seen as is in shadow. Okay, things that were done behind the scenes to bring this to pass. Their idea, this new world order, but it has to have chaos. And then they believe in order out of chaos. And they're going to create this false order, which is all a lie. And the chaos is created all based on lies and things that they use to manipulate. So the top is 3, the bottom is 9. So they're wanting to go from 9 to 3, from base consciousness and flesh and base human existence to godliness, going from 9 to 3. And they love the number 93, as you see here in the Masons. The great architect on the right there is the Mason symbol with the square and the protractor or whatever it is. So you have 9 to 3. They're going from 9 to 3. Okay. Now 9 to 3, which is a play on going from 9 to 3, or the number 923, which we've seen in movies and TV shows, and it's all over the place. It's in every kind of media. It's on Google Doodles. It's on, music videos. The 923 is all over the place. But going back to some historical religious symbols and understanding, 923 equals 14. By the way, that's one of God's favorite numbers. Not only is 7, but 14 is a big number in the Bible. Okay, it means so much. I'm not getting all that. Certain things I'm going to get into, other things I'm going to just go right by because I'm trying to stay on a certain message. And if I get into too many things or go down too many rabbit holes, I won't get the message. So Set, which is the god Set, he cut up Osiris into 14 pieces. So 923 equals 14. So Osiris he's a form of somebody else. So let's go to that for a second. So Osiris is really Nimrod. And then Horus is Tammuz, which Tammuz was Nimrod's son that was reborn. And then Set is really Shem. He comes from the Shemite or the Semites, which were Noah's 3 sons. One of them was Shem, and he killed Nimrod, and then he cut him into 14 pieces. Okay, because he was so evil. It's in the Bible. So Nimrod, the head of the hold on a second. The Nimrod, the head of this idolatry, was taken by his godly uncle Shem and some other patriarchs. They found him guilty of idolatry and many other gross sins, such as murder, and had him put to death. Nimrod's body was cut up into pieces and sent to important cities that followed Nimrod's apostasy. This was a warning to them not to follow in Nimrod's path. In Egypt, Osiris was said to be killed by Set, or it's a version of Set, and his body was cut up into pieces. So basically, the real stories from the Bible, the real actual thing that happened was Nimrod, and then you got Semiramis, his wife, the virgin, so-called, but she wasn't anywhere near being a virgin. And so you have this trinity that was promoted at that time, and Nimrod, of course, built the Tower of Babel, and that whole thing about everybody kind of went into one language and tried to build something to go and defeat God, and God destroyed it, and then confusion languages and all that stuff, okay? So that's the original story from the Bible, but the versions that have popped up, Mystery Babylon is what it's called. It's the Babylon Mystery Religion, okay? That comes from Nimrod, Tammuz, and Semiramis, okay? The unholy trinity, okay? And then from there you have Greek gods, you have Roman gods, and you have Egyptian gods, not necessarily in that order. But and these different heads of these gods are Osiris, and then we're going to get into here. So Nimrod is also Zeus, which is the Greek god Zeus, and he's also Jupiter. So Nimrod is three other mystery religions based on the same religion. Okay, this is all the same religion, just repackaged and repurposed. Okay, these are all these myths based on the gods or the angels that were Nephilim, and then Nimrod, he learned how to become a Nephilim, okay, and he did black magic and all this kind of stuff to become something else, something different than he was. Okay, so the reason why I'm talking about this, I'm going to get to this. So we're going to be talking about Jupiter, because Jupiter is something that we've seen recently in the Revelation 12 sign. Okay, so originally, just imagine this. Now, not everybody believes in this Revelation 12 sign, but a lot of you that are watching my videos do. It was real. It was amazing. It was definitely a wonder in the sky. And if you don't understand that, you got to look at a lot of the details. I have some videos that share a little more about that, but the fact that Jupiter was inside the Virgin for basically 41 weeks and 6 days, or basically roughly the human gestation period, and then popped out right over here, okay? But why I'm pointing this out right now as far as Jupiter and Nimrod and Osiris is because Jupiter is basically the reconstitution of Nimrod, and he is the version of that's shown in the sky, of course, in the constellation, in the constellation of Virgo and Leo there, but also in our planets as the birth of Jupiter. So it's really the birth of the Antichrist. So the next figure that would follow in Nimrod's path would be the Antichrist, okay? When the first time Satan would indwell a man, okay? And so that's why I want to talk about this a little bit. And then I'm going to get off this, and then I'm going to go back to it in a little bit here after I get into more stuff with iPad Go. But I want to show you this because Jupiter, the birth of Jupiter is what they look at on their side. And it's a complete distortion of what God. So just imagine, God created all the, sun, moon, and stars. He had this idea. He put all this together. And he had other ideas about this stuff. And then they named some of these things. They changed it somewhat. Called it Jupiter. I mean, it's really the king planet. Jupiter is really the king planet because it's the biggest planet. And it basically, God intended it to represent the king, which is the future Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the Lord, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, all that. But they are making it on their side of the coin, the dark side of the coin, the birth of the Antichrist. Okay, so that's what this is all about. Okay, so going to iPad Goat here. And again, if you're not familiar with iPad Goat, please watch iPad Goat. I have a link in the description box. It's 7 minutes. It's only 7 minutes and 27 seconds long. And you need to watch it and get a feel for it, and then just see what I'm talking about as well. And then I recommend you watch part 1 and part 2, which I'll have links underneath iPad Goat as well. And this is part 3. Okay, this is the final solve. Okay, so as you look at this is the goat. that it's talking about basically a sacrifice, which a lot of people don't realize. These lots are cast, and they fall down in the video, and the red ones, they eventually turn gold, but the red ones are the sacrificial goat that's sacrificed, and the white ones are the scapegoat that is let free. And this is all in the Bible, and I've shown this in my other videos. Okay, so this is the goat that's right here, and as you see, he's in a prison camp. He's got 666 barcode on his forehead, which 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So we're in 2018. There's several things about this. We're in 2018. This video covers 2017 and 2018. It is a timeline. It's a complete timeline. And I'm going to say ahead of time, all of you that don't quite understand this, you need to understand it. This is a timeline showing 2017 and 2018. Events in 2017 and events in 2018. And this was made in 2012. Okay, 2012. And it took them 6 years to make this video. So this is all animated. Animated movies take a while to make. So this was known, and all the details were known years before it was made, because they had to take all this time to animate it. They had this basic understanding, the storyline. And what you'll see, if you look at breakdowns from like J.K. Bugout or Julian T. or me or other people, if you really look at this, you can see this is designed by demons. There's so many facets to all these things. There's so much symbolism. There is multiple meanings on multiple things. It's all symbolism jammed on top of each other. It's pretty intricate. It's pretty crazy. A lot of people don't give the credence to this that it deserves. Now, it is pure evil, no doubt. It was designed by demons and executed by human beings. But the intelligence that requires to put all this stuff together, the concepts, and predicting the future, which it technically hasn't, but it's shown what's going to happen in the past, or shown in the past what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so what that means, I'll just break that down really quick. So basically, they are behind the scenes. They are working in people who do these things behind the scenes. So it's not really predicting the future, because they just work in people that are in their club and use technology and different things to fool the masses and do false flags, false events that are blamed on other things to make it look like they can predict the future using all these different means. Okay, but it's not really predicting the future. Not like God would in the Bible with prophecy and things like that. Okay, because God is all powerful. These people are not all powerful, but because they've been given more and more power as the years have gone by, they have been given more power by people. Okay, so people that say, even Christians that say, oh, this may not happen and we can stop it. I'm sorry, but that time is up. The Lord's made it very clear to me, and if you don't get that, I don't know what to say, because this is going to play out. This is going to play out. It's in the Bible, okay? It's in Revelation. It's all over the place. Now, I'm not saying that other things in our own personal lives and other things cannot be changed by prayer and all that stuff, of course. But the problem with all this is we're at the very end, and there's no more time. All the evidence shows this is about to all happen. And not only that, a lot of things we've shown, like all these hurricanes that happened in the last couple of years, these different things, they were predicted really before 2012. And they have all happened, and on specific dates that have been shown in this video. So all these things have not been delayed. There might be a few things that have. I'm not saying, I don't think they have a complete power, but they have been allowed to do what they do because human beings are so corrupt. Human beings are so in the dark. Human beings are so prone to being manipulated and fooled by them that we're at the point where this is all coming to pass. Unfortunately, I don't like that truth. I don't like the fact that that's what it is. And I've prayed and I've begged God and I've done all kinds of stuff and asked how this can be different and all that stuff. And it's on the way. It's almost here. The time is almost up. So we are in 2018 and it runs out. So I'm going to show you this a little bit more detail here. So, but first I'm going to show you here. This is his eyeball. Now, if you watch my part 1 and part 2, which I encourage you to watch, you're going to miss a lot of things because I'm not going to go over every single thing. It would take 3-4 hours, ridiculous amount of time. So basically, what he sees in his eye is what the old lady sees that's in the tower. And this is actually a scene. You can hardly see it here, but it's the island or the it's basically where Statue of Liberty is, that island, and the Statue of Liberty is going this way, but there's a bar in the way that doesn't show it fully, okay? And then there's a piece of island right here, and then there's one up here. It's hard to see with this blown up so much, but it is that. And he sees what she sees because she's behind bars, and that's the bar that's covering that up. If you got to watch my other video. I think is part 1. Yeah, part 1. And you'll see that, okay? So he sees what she sees. There's a lot of that going on, mirroring. And I think the reason why they do that is because this goat is representing this hurricane in Hawaii. And then when this event happens in Hawaii, it's going to happen simultaneously pretty much in New York. Okay, so that's why they want to show the same, well, they're both watching the same thing. And there's several of these things that happen. And then when she watches from her vantage point, she sees New York being hit by a missile. He sees the same thing. This is a missile coming down. If you see this thing animated, you see this is a missile coming down. Okay, and it kind of lights up over here. But anyway, so I'm just telling you what that is. And then right here is a spiral from you would think it was a hurricane, but it's not. This is what he's seeing. He's seeing from above. He's seeing in the video. He's seeing the Statue of Liberty, and then there's this thing that looks like a hurricane, right? Right. And I don't believe it is. I believe what it is the portal that is going to open up in a sense, and the rapture is going to happen. Okay, and the faithful in Christ, not just every Christian that is born again, but the faithful that follow Jesus. This is in Revelation 2 and 3, the 7 churches. There's only one faithful church that leads through the open door and is exempt from the tribulation. Okay, and the rest of them are going to be left here because they have not followed the Lord. It said things like, you have not kept your first love, which is me. You are lukewarm, so I'm spew you out of my mouth. All these different kinds of. What does that mean to be spewed out of his mouth? Not a good thing. And some of the parables talk about you'll be cast into outer darkness where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's what the tribulation is. Just imagine if you're a Christian and you don't follow Jesus, you just do your own thing, which is not what the Bible teaches, I believe. Okay, it teaches that you have to follow Jesus, you have to trust in him. It is a relationship, and that's the whole point. And you're covered by that trust. You're covered by that faith. That's what it means. That's what the oil in the lamps of the faithful virgins is all about. And when you do not follow, you do your own will, you're opened up to not being in God's grace in those actions and things that you do. And so because of that, God is going to leave the unfaithful to go through persecution and things in their lives during the tribulation, and they're going to be weeping because they're left, and they're going to be gritting their teeth because they could have went. They could have been a part of the first rapture, but they realized that they were left, and there's nothing worse than that. There's been some people that I know that have experienced dreams like this, and where they've been left, and then their lives have changed, and they went to the Lord, and the Lord gave them this dream, and some they're going to find it out, unfortunately. Okay, so I believe that's what it's showing. Now, and then once this closes, then the light turns off in the torch. The light's gone up here, and the light that was the restrainer, I believe, is taken away. And then the Antichrist will be revealed soon after. Okay, now, when we go back to iPad Goat in this opening scene, before he sticks his head out, I want to cover a couple things here. So this is a timeline. So it starts out with this thing right here, which I believe represents the lunar eclipse that happened in July. Okay, the blood moon that happened in July. So this is representing 2018, and I'll show you later where there's some things that represent 2017 and 2018, and they're kind of intermixed in some ways, or they're very defined in other ways. So this is defined in 2018. So after this lunar eclipse, which is in the same month of this the goat month, which is the 6th lunar calendar month, the Chinese lunar calendar month of the goat. Each lunar calendar month has an animal attached to it. Okay, so that's why the goat's head pops out, because it's the 6th month is the Chinese lunar calendar 6th month of the goat. It's, again, all this symbolism means stuff, okay? So this box represents the 6th month. This one represents the 7th month, this little sliver right here. In fact, this is pointing to that right there, which is basically, if you see the full thing, I'll show you here in a little bit, but this is it looks like an M, but it's representing what I've shown in pictures and stuff in my other videos. It's representing the islands of Hawaii, because they're kind of like volcanic and they're this kind of shape here. So it's pointing to the 7th lunar calendar month Okay, and then I'm going, when I was looking at this the last time, I was going, okay, this is the 8th lunar calendar month, and there's nothing else. But no, there's more here that I need to show you. A lot more, and I've learned a lot more since then. So we go down here. I've shared that also to also substantiate that this cube here, this box, is lunar calendar month 6 in 2018. It's called the Wu Shu year, and I'll get into that a little bit more. But if you look at this, it's a version of Wu, even though in Chinese it's WU, or it's pronounced in English WU, but Wu can also be WOO, it's said that way. And then we have an F, kind of the dog saying woof, right? Well, it's Wu, the year of the dog, and that's the dog right there. The Wu Shu year is the year of the dog. So we have a dog, and we have Wu right here, which means year of the dog. And then we have F, which is the 6th letter of the alphabet. So we have the year of the dog both here, the actual dog, and Wu means dog. And then the F is the 6th letter of the alphabet, which this is the 6th month. And then we have this guy holding and whatever. And I'm going to show you what all this is. But look, he is wolfing at something. And if I just drew a line right from his mouth straight across, and he's doing this wolf at this thing right here, well, what is that? I'll show you. I've learned so much about this in the last week. It's just crazy. I've been getting so many downloads from the Lord, and I'm finally getting to put this video out. I can't believe it. Okay, so I'll show you here. Now, this is really important. I'm going to show you this. So this I thought was the 8th month. So this is the 6th, and there's so much evidence that this is the 6th month, lunar calendar month. This is the 7th, and I thought this was the 8th, okay? But then the 8th month pretty much went by, okay? And the event I thought was going to be possibly didn't happen, okay? And I was still, again, speculating on these things. I still am now. But what I noticed after that, a few things, and one of the things was, see this whatever this is, a symbol or whatever you have, like this thing up and down, and you have these two things going off here, and then it's represented right here. Okay, so there's some things about logic and symbolism and different things you gotta have to follow in these things, and sometimes they're just known, sometimes they're not known. You've got to use some different principles to figure things out. So I basically use this as the standard because it's in the center. It's the subject matter, the iPad goat is subject matter. So this is the standard. This is the thing you go by. So right here represents, this is on the front of it, and this is showing that this is its own month right here. And then now I see right here that this is showing that this is on the front of it, and it's a separate section right here. So what I'm understanding is that, and because there's a big little separation right here, this must be the 6th month, and I had to investigate it more until I could prove my hypothesis. This is the 6th month, this is the 7th month, this is the 8th month right here, and then this right next to it is the 9th month, and then we're out, there's no more months. So 2018 is it. So people are saying 2019, 2020, 2030, whatever. Okay, you may be looking at other things, and there'll be maybe other things you can look at to that, but on this video, no. This movie, no. It ends in the 9th month. There is a possibility there could be something here I don't see, but I don't think so. It's definitely 2018, and I'm hypothesizing right now, and I think I can prove it, that this is the 9th month is the last month. The lunar calendar month, not the Gregorian, not the Julian, not anything else. Okay, let me show you that. So, if we take it and we put it sideways like I've done before in my other video, let me recap here. So this one's the 6th month, right in the middle of it in a sense, right in the middle. It happens to be July 27th and 28th because it's right in the middle, and 28th, which was the lunar eclipse. It just happens to be right in the middle, this little, where the boards meet. See, this is all planned. This is very intricate and it's detailed. It's kind of crazy. And then we have the 8th lunar calendar month. This didn't seem to fit anything, but what I noticed is it was marking where this one started, right here. So this is marking where this starts and where it ends. So this is the path right here. Then I showed my other video that this is a little bit over 3/4 of the way from here to here, because you go left to right. So a little over 3/4 of the way is right here, and that ended up being October 3rd. And October 3rd is what I thought might be the attack, and I just thought it's possible, and I was guessing that could be it, but I wasn't sure. And then it ended up being the presidential alert. And I even originally said that it would be an 8 o'clock in Hawaii and 2 after 2 or after 2 in on the East Coast or in New York, and it was. I didn't know how much after because it showed it after, but it ended up being that. So it wasn't the actual full attack event, but it was an event that ended up being where I'm going to show you a warning and a countdown to the actual event. Okay, so back to this. Now, like I said, do we have 6? By the way, this one here, because it started over here, is part of 6. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now let me show you this. Now I said this was the 6, this is the 7, 8. Now, all these numbers are pretty much working on 9. 9 is right above this line right here. Okay, so I have several numbers. Some of this I'm referring down here too, but most of these I'm referring to this 9th area, which is above this line. Okay, hopefully you can follow this. Okay, so basically, what's crazy about lunar calendar months is, of course, it's based on the lunar cycle. So the moon cycles are roughly 29 and a half days. So in a month, you can't count a half a day. So some months are 29 days, some months are 30 days. This month, the 9th lunar calendar month, which is the last one we're on right here, which is above this line right here, has 30 days, which is helpful because you can segment it properly. And so it ended up being that right here, right above this line, there was this barbed wire right here, and it ended up being an exact barb right here, when the other spots, there was no real barb here that was on the line, but the barbed wire is showing right here. So I go, okay, well, like I've done before, I kind of figured this out on a window that was showing an iPad Goat, and then this before, and so I did the same thing again. Now, we know that I could basically segment this. This looked like about 1/5 from here to here. So I measured it. I literally I took a piece of paper and measured it, and then folded it in half and had a center point. And then I basically figured out this is 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So we have 6/5. Okay, which 6/5 is 25 out of 30. Okay, 5/6. Sorry, 5/6 of the way is basically 9/25. So let's just say basically it starts on the 9th. I hope I'm explaining this right. I'm sorry if it's not the easiest thing to explain. So it starts on the beginning of the 9th month. Then you got 9/5 is 5 days later. Then 9/10, 9/15, and I have 9/20 way up here because I want to show you 9/20. 9/25 ends up being, of the lunar calendar month, 9/25 ends up being this right here, this barbed wire, and then 9/30, or that's in the lunar calendar month. Now on the Gregorian, it is the beginning of this is 10/8. Okay. By the way, it's this part right here, right above here, right above this line, not down here. So we have 10/8, and then we have 10/13, which is August 13th, which is today, is equal to 9/5 on the lunar calendar. Then we have 5 days later is 10/18. 5 days later is 10/23. Then 10/28, October 28th. And then 5 days later is 11/2, which is the same as 9/25 right here, 11/2. And then 5 days later is 11/7. So in the Gregorian, this month encompasses October 8th through November 7th, if that makes sense. And then right here, 5/6 of the way, so these are 6/5. 5/6 of the way is 11/2 or 9/25. So you need to understand that. Okay, so I have this hypothesis that there's something here. Well, there is something here. What is that? Is it just a barb? Now, see, these are going different directions. This one's different. What is it? Look at that. What is that? That's an H. Not only is that an H, that's a large H, and then there's also a small H backwards. That's an H. Well, it just so happens we've been talking about Hawaii. Just happens to be a barb shaped like an H. I don't think so. And by the way, like I showed you, I'm showing this upside down now, but the dog was pointing at, he was barking towards, if you draw a line right from his mouth, he was barking at the H. Okay, but the reason why I have this upside down is because the dog on the right side was saying woof, but upside down it looks like doom. Or the B could be backwards and it could be boom. Or the D could be backwards and it could be a B and it would be boom. Either way, again, these are multifaceted, these are multi-layered symbolisms, okay, all over here. You've got to be able to kind of look at all these different angles, and my thing is I like to support with corroborating evidence, okay? I like to support with other evidence that supports other evidence. I don't. Some people, they put all these different ideas out, and then hopefully, something hits, something sticks. They throw a bunch of things against the wall, and hopefully something sticks. And that's one way to do it. But I prefer to try and back up an idea with several other possibilities, and it makes it more probable. Okay, makes it much more probable. So that's why I'm saying that this is pointing to this. So we're in the 9th month. The 9th month is going to be the 25th day of the 9th month, which is 11/2. Okay, and this dog is pointing to this. There's going to be a boom or a doom on 11/2 or 9/25 on the lunar calendar, or 11/2 on the Gregorian calendar. Okay, now let me get into more here. All right, so a barb, like a barbed wire. Why do they use a barb in the barbed wire? A barb is a sharp projection near the end of an arrow, fish hook, or similar item, angled away from the main point as to make extraction difficult. We know this, on a fishing hook or whatever, a spear or something like that. It's pushed in and you can't pull it out because the barb holds it in. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my other videos here. So this is basically Osama bin Laden showing on a iceberg kind of thing. It looks like a ship. And then right on the end is this spear-looking thing. By the way, that was Lane. Hurricane Lane really in Gaelic meant spear. And a lot of people didn't search that deeply. I did. I found Lane is Gaelic for lane, which is spear. So they plan to spear the heart of the United States, which they consider that Hawaii and New York, two different hearts for different reasons. Okay, so this is this little iceberg here, which is the exact shape, well, pretty much the exact shape of Hawaii, and they're going to spear Hawaii. Well, it just so happens that later in the video in iPad Goat, if you watch the video, there's a part where oil is dripping and makes a big, huge ripple, and then it's like an oil slick looking thing. Well, it just so happens that here's Hawaii, here's the spear, here's the little thing that looks like Hawaii in transition, where it shows the Statue of Liberty and there's little islands off of it. And then this, if you kind of squint your eyes, it looks like an H and an I. And I shared this from my other videos, so please look at those. Part 1, I think it's on, or part 2. Then this just so happens to be right here, right where this spear is, right where this is representing, guess what? That was Olivia. Olivia is right here on, and it shows here 9/11. You can't see it completely, but it's 9/11. And this was Noah's prediction of days before, Olivia coming here, and right at this point, right off north east side of Hawaii, there's the goat head right there. There's the goat head. Being right here on Tuesday, 9/11. That was 8 p.m. They're really into 8s, by the way. Tuesday at 9/11. So look in iPad Go. You got several examples, and then Noah predicted this being right here, and it was, and that's not a coincidence. These all line up. So there's examples of these hurricanes shown in iPad Goat as far as being a coming attack. It's forecasting a coming attack. I thought they might have been the attack, and they might have started Kilauea going. They might be using an excuse, but they're not. They're just forecasting. It was showing ahead of time a warning of what's coming. Okay? So now let's get into another section later in the video where it shows Lily. Her name is Lily, and she represents 2018. Now behind her is 2017, and you have all the months of 2017, and these are all lunar calendar months because we have here the yin and the yang symbol, and it's on the yin, I believe, the yin symbol, and the yin is the yin year, which was, if I have that right, I'm trying to think, yin, there's a yin, every other year is a yin or yang year, and 2017 was this year, or last year, and it was that yin year, I believe, and it started in January, so this represents January, just like the Gregorian, so January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, so back to front. Now, how do I know this for sure? Well, that's the first month, so that's January. We know January is the first month in 2017. You go all the way back. And then look, we got the 8th month right here, the back row. And there's other reasons, but I'm just going to get into some things. That was the lunar eclipse that happened on the 8th month in August last year, the big Great American Eclipse. There it is representing that. You got the sun behind the moon. Okay? And then right here we have September, and that's when there was those hurricanes in 2017. And then we go over here to December, and there was a moon event here in December. We'll get into all that. Okay, so but this is she's representing the next new year, which is 2018. with a couple things. She's going to drop an apple, which is going to represent the ball drop in New York. It used to be an apple they dropped in New York in the 80s, and then it changed to a ball because, the Big Apple drops, in the Big Apple. Okay, but what I want to show you here is this. Now, I remember looking at this for the first time, and I've talked about this before, but these are 12 figures, and they look like boys, and they're sitting down, and they look bored, and they're just kind of sitting there. And that's what I originally remember saying to myself, and like, that's kind of weird. Why would they use these are as examples? And then in June of this year, June 23rd, there was a little after June 23rd, there was a story about these 12 Thai boys that were trapped in a cave. And it was all this whole thing, and it ended up being, I looked at it, and I was like, no, wait, that's what this is. These are 12 boys, and they're sitting there waiting, and they end up being like this turquoise color, or like they're in the water or whatever. And then recently, check this out. Recently, they were invited to Hollywood and kind of praised as heroes or something like that, I guess. And look at these colors. Look at what they're wearing, and look at the colors of the bags. Look at this. There's exactly 12 of them. This is all predicted in the future, these 12 boys, because they entered into that cave on 6/23, June 23rd, which was June 23rd, which was basically it represents 6/23 also on the lunar calendar month, or lunar calendar, Chinese lunar calendar. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty on something on the side here. This June 23rd represented when they went into the cave. It also represents 6/23 on the lunar calendar, Chinese lunar calendar, which is Barack Obama's birthday. Okay, Barack Obama's birthday was August 4th, but on the lunar calendar it's 6/23, and then they went to the cave on 6/23 on the Gregorian. It's just kind of weird, but this is all false flag events. This was all planned somehow, and here they are. They're dressed. They have these same colors, and look at what they're wearing, and then look at right here in September. It's crazy. So there's meanings to this, and here they are sitting here, or standing and sitting, but kind of in the order they were: front row, back row. And look at this one right here, which kind of is where the 9 was. Okay, where the September was. And so this is actually upside down 9. And then check this out. Right next to it is an 11 and a 14. 9, 11 plus 14, 925. So it's kind of hidden here, but upside down 6 is 925. Remember I just said 925. 925 or 11/2 was the date that was being shown. Now this happens to be, this is crazy. Okay, so here we are. This is going to show the apple's going to drop. Okay, but first I'm going to show this first, actually. So this is the 9th month. Now, this represents 2017, but also since it has double meaning. It's 2017 and 2018, okay? So there's some things in here that represent 2018 as well, because this is still January, even though 2018 ends up starting in February for the lunar calendar months, okay? But this is still September, and September is touching her. So this is still represented. Now look, we have painted on him as an L and a C kind of sideways. There's an L, there's L painted here. You gotta look at all these little details. I'm not saying I have them all, I do not. There's so much intricacy to this, I cannot figure it all out. But I understand certain things, I've been led to certain things. And for me, what's gonna happen and when is the most important thing. All these other things are not as important. So we have L and then we have a C, which means lunar calendar. And this is the 9th month in lunar calendar. And that's still the 9th month in lunar calendar in 2018, which she represents. Okay, but it also represents L is 12th letter of the alphabet. C is the 3rd letter of the alphabet, which I believe it also represents 12:3, which is Revelation 12:3, when the dragon's revealed, and then the child is taken away before the dragon can devour it. And that's actually shown in this whole video. You have this character called Draco, which has these teeth, and he's the puppet master of Bush and everything. And Obama really eventually will become the Antichrist. And that's shown as well, but I won't get into all that at the moment. But he's touching right here this thing which looks like a wave or a tsunami wave, and then guess what? There's an island right here. There's a tsunami wave in the 9th month. Okay, see that? Touching this. And then there's a little island right here. So there's a tsunami wave and an island. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that represents Hawaii. And now let me show you this as well. So right in him being the 9th month in the lunar calendar month of the 9th month of the 2018, because he's touching her. Look right here. You see this? Why is there a little dot right here? This is an I, a small I. Okay, small I, or just I, is the 9th letter of the alphabet. So again, this said lunar calendar month of 9, and it's represented by where the other figures are. This is also showing that this is the 9th lunar calendar because I equals 9. And then you look at this upside down. I'm not going to show it upside down, but you can see it. This is a Y right here. See this? Y? So we got I and Y. I is 9. Y is what? 25. So we have 925. Again, like I showed you, 925 or 11.2 was where the barbed wire was that was shaped like an H, which is Hawaii. And then we had that little dot, which is Hawaii with a wave right by it. Okay, I'm going to just have more evidence to show you to confirm this stuff. So we have this here, this wave, and here's Hawaii right here, connected to the 9th month. I'm not exactly sure why it's connected to here as well, but if anybody has any ideas, let me know. And then over here in the beginning, when we had the lunar calendar here, there's another wave and another little dot as well. So these kind of coordinate. You have a tsunami wave and a little dot right here that look the same, and I'm going to show you that. So right here, we have this wave and I think it's a tsunami wave and an island, and then a tsunami wave and an island right here, kind of represented. It's just a symbol, okay? And I believe that's what it's showing. So there's 2 times where it's showing that. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, so like I said, Lily basically drops the apple, and then it rolls. If you watch the video, okay, it rolls, and there's a spot over here, and I believe it represents the moon because we have moon cycles. So it goes rolls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and as the moon shows up on here the 7th time, it goes across the 7th lunar calendar, which is LC lunar calendar. Again, LC. It goes here and it hits the foot of Obama because Obama's looking down on it, as you see later in the video. It hits the foot, goes, bounces back here, and then splits. Okay, what I believe this is showing now is that we have lunar calendar LC, and then upside down is the lunar calendar month of 7, because we also have that. I'm not going to play the video because I'm just going to go through this like this. You can watch the video if you want. So there's a thing representing the moon, a spot on this apple, and it went up on this 7th time when it went across here. But if you look at this from the top, it's 7, and then we have 8, and then this is 9, okay? How is Obama's foot 9 on the lunar calendar month? Let me show you. Okay, let me show you. So you see this right here. So you look at this like a 9 right here. See this 9 right here? You can go like a 9. Now you might say, okay, that's a stretch. Well, maybe it is. 9 is 9 right here, and then look, we have a Y. See that? Y. 9Y. Remember we just showed you IY. I showed you 925. Y is 25, and 9 is the 9th month. Now I have more support for this. This took my breath away when I found this. So there it is right there. So we have 7, 8. The apple completes the 8. So this is a C, but the apple completes the 8. 7, 8, 9. And it happens in the 9th month because guess what? The apple goes and hits the foot and then splits. So that means when it hits the foot is the 9th month that causes the split. Okay, that's what this is saying. There will be the split. And again, like I said right here, this is, let me go back over here. This is right here a volcano. If you haven't seen my videos before, but you've got to watch them. This is a volcano right here. And then it splits right here, knocking this section of the island off right here, which is how the tsunami, the mega tsunami is going to be forming. It's showing it right here. This is Hawaii. This is happening right here. And then it's going to explode. You see the psh up here like this. In fact, on this side of the apple is a big tsunami wave. When she's holding it, if you zoom in on it, it's a big, huge wave. It looks like water cresting on this side of the apple, water cresting and falling like a wave on this side. And you'll see that. I showed that in my other video as well. You got to watch those. So we have 7, 8, 9, and guess what? Again, I'm showing you right here, and remember I said 9 and Y. Well, look at this. This is on the tip of his shoe. If you get down, now the thing is, I've never been able to find this stuff if I didn't slow motion this stuff and have it on a super high def and then zoom into it. It's crazy. But right here we have a 9. This is crazy. 9 and a Y right here. Y. See that? Maybe you might not be able to see it completely. Yeah, I think you can probably see it somewhat, but I mean, depending on the magnification, depending on your screen and everything. But it's a 9 right here and a Y, and there's some scribble around it a little bit. So it's not, but you got to turn it upside down. You got to look at it a little bit differently. If you turn the right side up, you can't quite tell. But right here, 9 and Y, so that's 925. Again, I showed you from the boxes where the goat was, it was 925, where the barb was. I showed you how this is upside down, then the foot toe looks like 9, and then you have a Y on a shoe. Okay, and here's another one, 925. Are you kidding me? Are you getting this? Hopefully you are. I'm confirming it in several ways. 925 on the lunar calendar, which again, where the barbed wire was showing was 11/2, November 2nd. Okay, now I want to show you something else here. This is crazy. So it's also confirmed again. Remember we talked about 923. Now I'm going to go back into 923 soon, but I want to show you some other things before that. So why is this figure slanted? And I was trying to find stuff in here and in the dog and all that, and I finally did. The reason why this figure slumps back, like he's trying to fight the dog or whatever, is because there's a 9 right here. See that 9 right here? It's not complete. Again, if they make it completely obvious and make it all perfect, then you'll see it. So they can't make it completely obvious. This is a 9 though, and let me show you. 9, and then look, upside down in the same body. Remember, this is 9 upside down. It looks like a 6 right upside down right here, right? Right side up here. Y. His body is a Y, backwards Y. Again, 9. In this, they're forming the same thing. 9 Y. 925. It's right there. Also, let me show you this. 9, and then we have, if you follow this over here, you have a 2, okay, 9, 2, and also 3. 9, 2, 3. 9, 2, 3. So that's a 2 and it's a 3. 923. Okay, I'm going to get into what the 9 is. Some of you may know this, but we'll get into what the 9 is here soon. But 9, well, the 9 is obviously the lunar calendar month, 923, you'd think, right? But no, it's not. It is when you talk about 925. 925, yes, lunar calendar month, lunar calendar day, but not when it comes to 923. See, this is the hidden code to all this stuff. This is why this has been cracked, I believe. Okay, let's go past here. Okay, so let's go back to this for a second. So the 9th lunar calendar month, and then we follow this. So this is lunar calendar month in here, the months and the days. And up here is the Gregorian. You got the Gregorian months, Gregorian days. So 9th lunar calendar month, and we got 25th right here, right? The 25th day of the 9th lunar month. And so that means November 2nd. Okay, November 2nd. Okay, so that's what that means, okay? I just want to show you so you can see. And it's the Wu, there's the WU, Wu Shu Year of the Dog. This is the Gregorian Lunar Calendar Conversion Table of 2018. So the Wu Year, WU, is the dog, Year of the Dog. And that's what I've been showing you. So I'm confirming it with an actual chart here. Okay, now November, some of you may know this. I found this out a couple years ago when I was looking into some things, and I realized that, listen, I know that September, Sept, is 7. October, the Oct, is 8, of course, and octagon and all that kind of stuff. And then Nov is November is 9. Then December, Dec, is 10. Decimeter or whatever is 10. So this explains it. The month kept its original name, talking about November, kept the original name from Latin, novem, meaning 9, which marked it the 9th month of the year in the Roman calendar. So here's the Romans. They had a calendar and then they changed it. I wonder why they changed it. They have different reasons, and then they went from the Julian to the Gregorian and all this kind of stuff. But they kept the 9 and 10, and then they added January for the god Janus, and February for the god Februm, or whatever it was. And then, because like it says here, November was named during the time when the calendar year began with March, which is what God's calendar actually does, which is why its name no longer corresponds with its placement in the Julian and Gregorian calendars. So here you go. 9 in 923 is November. November, people. Okay, so breaking this down is more. So here's the iPad goat. You have his horn making 911. See this? The horn makes 9 right here, and then these two things right here, they're down here as well, make 11. So you have 911, to 11:2. 9:11 to 11:2. This box. So this is the 2 in iPad Go 2, and there's this 11 right here. Or you can say 11:11 or 11:2. So 11:11, 11 and 11:11. The second one is 2 also. 1 and 1 is 2 because they add up numbers. So 11:2 is 9:25. Okay, also right here in the snow is 11. And then because this is a little mound of snow, this relates to this mound of snow. So we have 11, and then this looks like a sideways 3 possibly. So we have 11:3 and 11:2. Well, what are 11:3 and 11:2? We'll talk about that in a minute here. But see how this is? It's crazy. So this relates to this box because of this, the way this pattern goes right here that I talked about. This is the front, ends up being a front, which ends up being the 9th month. This is an 11, that's an 11. Ultimately, it's right here in front of your face, the date, 11:2. It's crazy. Okay. Man, I'm talking a lot here. So this is an example of the Day of the Dead. And this is in the movie Spectre. And I just wanted to show you this representation of a skeleton guy, death, basically, wearing a hat. This is their representation in this movie. And then check this out. That's what's representing an iPad Go. You see this death figure, and I didn't realize until recently. I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm going, oh my goodness. I'm looking at November 2nd. I'm looking at this October 31st area. I'm considering that. You know, there's some validity to the idea of October 31st because of different things with calendars and all that. But I'm coming to this understanding more and more. This death character is this celebration of the Day of the Dead. And that's these fireworks behind him and everything. The Day of the Dead. It's crazy, okay? But that's what he symbolizes. Some people were thinking, I thought maybe it was 4th of July, but there's just a death thing happening on the 4th of July, or maybe close to it or something like that. But no, this is the Day of the Dead. People dress up as dead skeletons and all that kind of stuff and honor the dead, and I think it's dead worship and all that kind of stuff and worshiping demons. I'm going to get into that, okay? So, in this actual... I was able to freeze it. I had seen things in here, and I'm like, what are these things? And I wasn't able to really find it until recently. And I ended up freezing it a couple times, or pausing a couple times, and I was able to find this. So there's something right here, and there's stuff right here. And there may be more up here. If you see it, anything else, let me know what you see up there as far as it relates to this. Don't just say, hey, I see this for crazy stuff. But let me show you what I see. So here, to the left of him is 9. Right here, 9, 3, 2. 9, 3, 2. Now maybe another configuration I don't see, but that's what I see right now. 9, 3, 2. Again, that's 9, 2, 3, but 3 and the 2 are backwards. So 9, 3, 2, 9, 2, 3. Okay, this is talking about 9, 2, 3. Over here, this is 9 right here. See this 9 backwards? It's a 9. And then we got a 2 here and a 3. 9, 2, and 3. Okay, so 9, 2, 3. Right there. 9, 2, 3. Then over here, if you didn't see that, 9, 3, 2. 9, 3, 2. Okay, it's right there. And as I showed you, 9 is November. 2, because we were talking about 9, 2, 3. Remember, going from 9 to 3, or 9TO3, that's what they believe, right? Is 9 is November, 2 is the 2nd of November, 3 is the 3rd of November. And I'm going to talk about these. But first, the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is a holiday sometimes called Dia de los Muertos, in Anglophone countries, a back translation of its original name, Dia de Muertos. It is particularly celebrated in Mexico, where the day is a public holiday prior to Spanish colonization in the 16th century. So anyway, it's gradually it was associated with October 31st. Of course, we've got Halloween. Well, there's no surprise. It's all going to be associated with Halloween. November 1st and November 2nd to coincide with Western Christianity Triduum, however you say that, All Hallow Tide. By the way, here we go, Roman Catholic stuff again. All Saints Eve, All Saints Day, and All Souls Day. So there are 3 Catholic days. Well, what a shock that, these South American countries and stuff, and Mexico, which is basically founded by by Catholics, would be connected to the Catholic Church, of course, and these idea of All Hallows Eve and all that kind of stuff, All Saints Day, which is the worship of the dead. Okay, traditions connected with holiday include building private altars called ofrendas, honoring the deceased using calaveras, Aztec marigolds, and favorite foods and beverages of the departing, and visiting graves with these as gifts. And they even put drinks out, and so the dead can get quenched on their journey. I mean, it's silly. It's so silly. And this is supposed to be Christianity? No, it is Catholicism, and it's a version which is paganism, which is Satanism mixed with Christianity, which it always has been, and it's disgusting. And let me talk about what it. This is the crossover is again All Hallowtide, All Saints Tide, or the Hallowmas season. Sound familiar? Hallowmas, Halloween, is the tridium encompassing the Western Christian observances of All Saints, which they should say Western Catholic, not Christian. Okay, it should say Catholic, of course, but this is Wikipedia or whatever. Time to remember the dead, including martyrs, saints, and it sounds all good and everything, but it ends up worshiping the dead, and basically the Bible forbids talking to the dead, because what happens is you're talking to demons. The dead cannot communicate with you, by the way. If the people that believe that kind of stuff and the things that are taught about that, they're taught to people because they want demons to respond to people, and they want demons in their lives. Okay, Halloween is not a good thing. This All Hallows Tide and all that stuff is complete. What it is, it's a ritual. This will be the last ritual, big ritual, that the Catholic Church and others around the world will basically celebrate and be part of before this big event. And it's not a coincidence. It's 3 days as well. So it ends on November 2nd. Just happens to coincide with the Day of the Dead figure on iPad Goat, and these different dates of November 2nd and November 3rd, which is 9/25 on the lunar calendar. You can read the rest of this here, but I'll go over here. So look at this. Here's the Catholic Church. All religions will unite with the Roman Catholic Church. That's what their goal is. And look, they're worshiping the dead. You got the skull, and here's the Pope, the former Pope Benedict, kneeling down to the skull, and that's where this comes from. This Day of the Dead thing, this is all got Roman Catholic roots. Look here, he's taking this altar of this dead. This is sick. This is just sick. Here they are with this skull. It's really Osiris, judge of the dead, and that's what this is. They have all kinds of this occultic. There's Osiris right here. This is Osiris. This is representing Osiris right here. Okay. Now again, this is Babylon mystery religion presenting itself again, masked as some version of Christianity, which it is not. It's a sick version of Christianity. It's not the truth. Notice how they're wearing red, which is symbolizing blood and sacrifice and all this other kind of stuff. It's demented. It's demented. Okay, but I wanted to show you that. Okay, so I have this new breakdown of this. On the Gregorian calendar, you have November 3rd, November 2nd, and November 3rd again represented. So this is the same time or the same moment just after these time frames that I showed in my last video I thought it was October 3rd, but that was the first event. And this is the countdown to these actual events that are going to happen. So the same exact moment is going to be represented at 10 a.m. in Jerusalem because of different time zones, but it's the same exact moment. 9 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time and 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with all the exact same moment, just different time zones. So that's also Jerusalem is also the 8/23 of the Hebrew calendar. And then, of course, Hawaii being on November 2nd is 9/25 on the Chinese lunar calendar. As I've shown, November 2nd, remember with the barbed wire and everything, and Obama and his foot. I mean, all these different things, the dog, where the dog was barking, and what it was saying, all this kind of stuff. So basically, this is the code. This is the cracking of the code right now. November, which is really 9, like I showed you, 9, 2, and 3. 9, 2, 3. It's never been 23. It's never been 9/23. Never been 23. It was always 9/2/3, not 23. 9/2/3. Because why? Because they're going from 9/2/3. Example on the pyramid, going from the bottom to the top, going from carnality to immortality. So they're going from 9/2/3 on 9/2/3. 9 November 2 and 3 at 9 to 3 or 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. This is crazy. This is how this all lines up. This is how ridiculous they are about numbers and their ordinal number. They worship all this stuff, and they have this all secret code to all the people who are in this religion, which are many leaders all over the place. There's Masons in every big denomination and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. Okay, so this is the code cracked. This is what 923 means in all these different media things, all these different media examples. 923, going from 9 to 3 on 923 at 9 to 3. This is when this attack's going to happen. It's going to be 9 p.m., just after 9 p.m., because the tick mark is, the hand is shown after the tick mark. And I'm not going to show that in this video because I want you to watch first part 1 and part 2, if you haven't already. If you already have, your head. But watch part 1 and part 2 so you can see what I mean about where the tick mark is and where 9 p.m. is shown and where 3 a.m. is shown on Statue of Liberty. Okay? So, now I want to switch gears a little bit. So you know this now. So you know what 923 is. Not 923, it's 923. Now I want to switch gears and I want to talk about real quick about the tetrad, which is really octad. It's a series of 8, not to mention all the other tetrad lunar occurrences of blood moons in history, which are several, and they're all land on specific feast days: Passover and Sukkot, Passover, Sukkot, Passover, Sukkot. Okay, that is telling you that Sukkot is the last one. Not to mention, these are all, even these lunar calendar and these lunar events are on holy days. Okay, why I'm showing you this again, or the people who haven't seen this before, is because God communicates on the Hebrew calendar on these things. Okay, all of you that talk about the Enoch calendar and this calendar and that calendar and all that, it doesn't matter. Okay, it does not matter. And I'm going to show you why the Hebrew calendar, even though it's wrong, I'm convinced it's incorrect, but God is going to communicate to Israel once we're gone, and they're going to become jealous, and there's all kinds of stuff going on here. He's got to get through to them during the tribulation. Okay, once who are Christian who are going through this stuff or who left, they're going to get the message. He's working on that. That's separate. But the ones who follow all this, all the history and these signs and all that kind of stuff, God's showing it on the existing Hebrew calendar, even though it's not correct. I believe it's based on the sun, moon, and stars. I'm not going to get into all that. But this is the evidence that God is communicating. I'm going to show you what He's communicating through the actual existing Hebrew calendar. Like I said, even though it's not correct, God can communicate through a donkey if He wants to. Who are any of you or any of us to say otherwise? And He's obviously communicating. If these events are happening exactly on holy feast days or holy days on the Hebrew calendar, then that is what He's using. I'm sorry. If you can't see that, I can't help you. But if you will listen and see, you will see what He's trying to do here. Okay, again, on the Great American Eclipse, it was linked to Israel. Again, you had 7 Salems that went through the Great American Eclipse. Okay, it also started on the first day of Elul, which represents the first day of the 30 days into Teshuvah, and then the 10 days of awe. It hit on the feast. The 30 days later was the Feast of Trumpets, which was the Revelation 12 sign, which ended up being on the Feast of Trumpets on the Hebrew calendar. Hello. Then the Day of Atonement, all this stuff. So then that means the Feast of Tabernacles has merit. And the dates of the Feast of Tabernacles, which I'm going to get into soon here. So like I said, Revelation 12 sign in 2017 on the Feast of Trumpets just happened to be on the Feast of Trumpets on the Hebrew calendar. So all these things, what they have in common is the Hebrew calendar, not the Enochian calendar, not this, not that. Please listen. Please understand. This is the way God's communicating. So this is also going to link back up to 923 and all this stuff. So check it out. So it just so happened that this Revelation 12, so I'll go back to it, was on September 23rd, 2017. Okay? Exactly a year later was September 23rd, 2018. Now look, what does that hit exactly? Oh, this is a coincidence. No, not even close. Look, September 23rd, a year later, is the eve of Sukkot. So all of you that understand what God's shown, like Pearl, blessed Pearl, she's awesome. I have a video of hers on my channel where she talks about Sukkot and how the menorah is really the order of the menorah and everything with the feast, and the order of the feast. The next one to be fulfilled is Sukkot. And I believe it's being fulfilled. It already has been fulfilled. It's being fulfilled right now, and I'm going to talk about that. So a year later, exactly, is September 23rd on the Gregorian calendar, which ends up being the 14th of Tishri, which is the eve of Sukkot. It just happens to be. It's the first day of Sukkot. Okay, it just happens to be. Nope. Okay. And then, why is that significant? Why is that? Well, because in Genesis 18:10, the Lord said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife shall have a son. And Sarah was listening at the tent door behind him. So God promised that they would have a son 1 year later. Okay, so this is the model. This is the key. Okay, the standard. This is the promised child of Abram and Sarah. I think Abram at the time, I guess. Maybe it was Abraham. And promised child was a year. So think about the year being the labor time, or the what do you call it? I just said it earlier. Instead of 9 months being the term, right? The term of a pregnancy. That's what I'm trying to spit out here. God, this is live, okay? I don't edit any of this stuff. I probably should, but I don't have time. So the term of pregnancy, it would normally be 9 months, but God set the precedent with this. With the first promised child that ended up being Israel, okay, was a year later from his promise. So it's, in a sense, she had a year term. Okay, and this is setting the precedent for that. So again, we will go from September 23rd, showing the birth of the child, to September 23rd, 2018, being later, being the eve of Sukkot. So, go with me on this. The purification after childbirth. So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, If a woman conceives and bears a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. As at the time of her menstruation she shall be unclean, and on the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. Then she shall continue for 33 days in the blood of her purifying. She shall not touch any not touch anything holy or come unto the sanctuary until the days of her purifying are complete. So anyway, let me go back to here. So we have, that was when the child is born. By the way, that day, I could have put much more on here, but I wanted to get this out to you and everything. That day was when Jesus was born. Also, 6 months earlier, that day was when, 6 months earlier, 6 months earlier was when John the Baptist was born. And they were both circumcised on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shemini Azeret. Okay, they're both circumcised on that day. It's a holy day twice a year. Okay, and that is the 8th day. And then we count 33 days from there, which ends up being what? Yes, 9/23/2018. You have the 8 days, circumcision on Shemini Azeret. Okay, plus the 33 days of her purifying is 41 days. You get, imagine that, November 3rd. Now we're talking about 9/2/3, November 2nd and 3rd. There's November 3rd again. This is the anchor that originally got me to all this. Okay, because I believe we're so close. All this stuff's ramping up for World War III like never before. There's so many things. It goes and goes and goes. This is the 70 year of Israel becoming a nation. All that stuff. I mean, there's just so much stuff I could get into, and I'm not going to spend the time. I'm just not going to spend all the time. 2018 is the year. I'm convinced of it, okay? And then the last possible, on the Hebrew calendar, again, we're not talking about, we keep pushing this out. The calendar's off by a month or what, all this stuff. No, I prove that Hebrew calendar is what God's communicating on. So then the last one would be Sukkot. It's the last feast, and that needs to be fulfilled next. It goes from left to right on the menorah, goes to the center, and then starts right to left from the outside in, from Sukkot, then Atonement, and then Feast of Trumpets inward. Okay, again, watch these videos a few videos ago that Pearl did, and also Draco with God's Roadmap to the End. They're both there, and it's the talk about Sukkot. The title is something about Sukkot is the time or whatever. So you can look at those videos. But they both do an amazing job explaining why Sukkot is the next one to be filled. So I believe it has been fulfilled possibly, and we're in the 41 days. Okay, and it connects with iPad Go, like I said. We had another confirmation here of November 2nd and November 3rd. This is November 3rd. This is a confirmation of November 3rd. Okay, another confirmation of the 41 days for me was when Jupiter went into Virgo in 2017 of the Revelation 12 sign, when it first went in and was in there for the full term, which was, guess what, from November 20th, 2016 to September 9th, 2017, was how many days? It was 293 days, but guess what? It was 41 weeks and 6 days. There's the 41. And Lord, I feel the Lord showed me that confirms the 41 days. Why didn't God make it 42 weeks? Because one more day would have made it 42 weeks. No, he did it that way for probably many reasons, but one was to confirm 41. And it's 41 days. He does weeks like days, weeks like years, years like weeks. I mean, it's crazy. He crosses over to make symbols and stuff, just like some of the stuff in iPad Go, which they're really ripping off God and what he does. So that's what I'm showing you here. So there's a confirmation that the 41 is significant. And we have 41 days from the eve of Sukkot, which is November 3rd. So that is almost here, a few weeks from being here. And then those are the attacks. And that's my supposition here. Okay, another evidence of that is when I mentioned in my last video that I was going to bring what this actually means. I'm going to decode this presidential alert. Okay, it happened on October 3rd. Now, here we have 1 plus 8 is 9, of course. So this is 9. And then here's, oh, look, 9, 2. Oh, who would look down here? 9, 3. 9's above 3. So we have 9, 2, 3 right there. The presidential alert was on the East Coast at 2:18. And guess what? The other part of the code is it was 30 minutes long, they said. 30 minutes. Or, I wonder, 30 days? Again, here we have something where minutes equal days, days equal weeks, weeks equal days. I mean, all this stuff. It's code. 30-day warning. That's what this is. This is a 30-day warning. And guess what? 30 days from October 3rd is, guess what? What is it? November 2nd. There it is. Why was it 30 minutes? Why did this thing have to go out for 30 minutes? Why not 15? Why not 10? Why not send it out one time? Why not an hour? Why not whatever? Why 30 minutes? Because it's all code. This was code, the 18. Why 18? Why not at 2:30? Why not at 2? Why 18? Because they communicate in code. Because they're a big group of Luciferians in government. And they are looking forward to this day like giddy like a child. And they cannot wait. You know what? There's all kinds of songs I can remember where they're talking about this, and movies and stuff where they cannot wait for this day. I forget the song right now, but there's a song about, we can't wait. The demons are talking about how they can't wait for this day. Anyway, so I want to show you one last thing. This was a Google Doodle. I mean, all this stuff's adding up to these days. So here's a Google Doodle that happened yesterday. Today, I'm doing this video on October 13th, 2018. Okay, so yesterday was a Google Doodle, and you had Roberto Clemens, I think his name is. Some of you guys who know baseball probably know Roberto Clemente. That's who he is, I believe. I think that's who that was. And it's basically they put it out yesterday on October 12th. And look at his number, 21. Remember I said the countdown started on 30 days with that presidential alert. No, now we're at 21 days. Add 21 days to when they released this yesterday, you get November 2nd. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it with that. So you have been presented with the decode of iPad Go 2. There are going to be 2 attacks at the same time, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. The West Coast is going to start in by probably Kilauea or Fisher 8 exploding and causing a massive tsunami because a section of Hawaii will go into the ocean and cause a massive tsunami that goes across, hits the West Coast. And I believe what's going to happen is when that hits, it's 100 to 200 foot waves going to hit the West Coast. It's going to cause the Cascade subduction zone and probably the San Andreas to completely flip because it's ripe for the picking, and they know this, has not gone off in a major earthquake, and it's been way overdue. It's going to cause at least a 9.0 plus is my prediction. Okay, and that's going to pretty much signal. I think there's going to be a rapture at some point, right before that, probably right before all that stuff, or maybe during that. I don't know, but around that time. I'm not going to say specifics on that. I don't know. I just don't know. All I can do is speculate on what I see and what I know, what I've seen in dreams and things like that, and what my daughter's seen in dreams, what my wife's seen in dreams, what we know, the evidence we can find, all that kind of stuff. So that's the best I can tell you. And at the same time, at 3 a.m., just after 3 a.m., so it's going to be whatever it is, because it's just after the tick mark on both, is going to be this massive tsunami that hits the East Coast and really wipes out New York. Okay, so you've been warned. So I like to say you've been served, for a couple different reasons. You've been served like a subpoena, but you've also been served as I'm serving you by telling you this. And I care about everybody. Otherwise, I wouldn't spend all this time doing these videos that I've done. That's my only motivation. I get nothing for this except for what the Lord wants me to do, what Jesus' heart breaks for people. He wants them to come to Him. He's begging you, come to Him. The time is almost up. I'm telling you, we have a few weeks, 2.5 weeks, or whatever it is right now from this video. Time is almost up. Please consider coming to the Lord Jesus. Make Him your Lord and Savior. Don't just, do what a lot of Christians do. And if you're a Christian and you haven't been following Jesus, repent. Change your way and make Him your Lord and Master. See, it's one thing to make Jesus your Lord. Okay, make Him your Savior, I should say. But another thing to make Him your Master, where you listen to Him and do what He says. Americans don't do that for the most part. They do their own thing, and then they, once in a while they might check in with God when it suits them or when they're in pain. And that's not how it works. It works, a relationship with God and the Lord Jesus Christ work because you put yourself to the side and you say, Lord, what do you want me to do? Lord, what do you want me to say? Lord, where do you want me to go? Lord, what do you want from me? You died for me. You paid the price. So let me act like it. And that's what I've been endeavoring to do. That's what my family's been endeavoring to do for years. And that's all we're committed to. He has done such amazing things in our lives because of that. So I'm imploring you, please. I'm showing this evidence. Look through this again. Look through if you haven't watched all 3 parts, get this understanding. This is coming. And I think I've put together a pretty good case to show you in the evil side on iPad Go, for example, because this is the best timeline the Lord's shown me. And then we have God's timeline in the feasts, in the sun, moon, and stars, and all that stuff. And I've shown other videos on that, some of that stuff, but there's a lot here that this is almost here. So God bless you, and God bless this message again. I want to say one last thing. Please, I beg you, whoever sees this, I beg you, please, if you would, share this with other channels. Share this with other people. Say, check this out. Check this video out. They need to see this evidence so they can be convinced that something's coming. At least prepare, at least consider it a possibility. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying I know exactly what's going to happen. I don't. And when and all that. I'm making my best hypothesis I can for your benefit. I'm already set. I'm ready to go. Okay? I'm concerned about everybody else. I want you to come too. I want you to come to heaven. You have no eyes seen, no ears heard what God has prepared for His people. No, you have no idea how amazing it's going to be. We're going to do so many great things, and we're going to have so many abilities and stuff. It's going to be insane. And for people to take this world over that, it's foolish. I'm sorry, it's foolish. My treasures are in heaven. And please, do yourself a favor. Do not get ready. Do not do anything else. Come to the Lord. And if you're not following Him, please follow Him. Do the best you can to follow the Lord Jesus. He has your best interest at heart. So this is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.